The thing is that policy and the policy of an actress, which is another big, massive, don't even go down that massive problem. But I think what happens is that all these policies get thrown at these young people. They're told they're rubbish when they pass their exams. They're told they didn't study hard enough when they pass their exam. They're told that you're going to get this grade, but in fact, you should have got that grade. It's just wrong. And bit by bit by bit, you're just chipping away at self-esteem. Chipping away. And that's what we have the problem that we have to use it. Just chipping away at self-esteem. The whole key to changing the education system needs to settle. Hence, you lot are all educated because the system was settled. It was settled. In a manner, it was settled. It's all over the shop at the moment. Employers don't know what education, what diplomas, what BTECs, what. They don't know what they do. So these children have studied for years and gone, I've got this, and they told me that this is what it means. And employers go, I ain't got a clue because I know GCSEs, I know A levels, and that's it. That'd be great.
One part is not perfect, GCSEs and A levels and all that.
They know what it is.
Whereas the other part of the system is very, it's a mess. It's messy and it's not.
Should we hear from the young man behind?
It was good the engineering, but they got rid of it.
But now it's not.
It's not settled.
Bring it back again.
Yeah, they're bringing it back.
It doesn't matter. It needs to
Sounds like
just
they're building new schools. Young man, say something.
Okay, the assistant. Cameron. Okay.
I won't hold it again. Sorry, Cameron.
Yeah, okay. The system seems to be failing in the vocational sector. And we've gone for a system where we say one size fits all, everyone should choose GCSEs, everyone should choose university. That is not right for everyone. And while I'm an academic, obviously we should realise that other people are not.
You're at university.
I'm a sixth form medical. You should realise vocational students are need a qualification which are respected and worthwhile. They need to be sort of.
I think it's almost incredibly the A target. It's not universal. I think it's the right thing to do. I think in a way it's a sign of our success. It's not controversial. Conservatives sign up for the number. I think that's brilliant. At the start of the time, it's not just about 1.7, it's also about trade, it's about tax transparency, it's about all other things that are essential to development. So at 0.7,
I think the other point that's worth thinking about 0.7 is a lot of people say our contribution should be according to the state of our economy at any given time. If you link 0.7 to gross national income, that does link it actually to the state of the economy at any given time, which is why we think the legislature, the government has broken its promise so far to legislate. We're also urging the government to enshrine this 0.7 commitment, 0.7 gross national income into legislation. On the United Nations, I think that we accept the United Nations is an incredibly important organisation. We were talking earlier about
to our economy. I think the fog is clearing from George Osborne's budget a few days ago. And what do we see when the fog clears? I think what we see is this, that we're 5 years on from the financial crisis. That financial crisis of 2008, Lehman Brothers, Northern Rock, all of those things. And actually, what is actually happening to our country? Well, we've got the slowest recovery for 100 years. We've got people's wages that are flat, prices that are rising, and living standards that are falling. Now, here's the really depressing thing. It's true that George Osborne took a penny off a pint of beer, but the idea that you can solve, or pretending you can solve the living standards crisis of this country by saying, buy 320 pints, get one free. I don't think it's going to convince anyone, is it? But really what he offered was more of the same. No change. And no change isn't good enough. Just think about another 5 years of this. Think about another 5 years of low growth, another 5 years of falling living standards, another 5 years of you paying the price. Britain can't afford another 5 years of this. And the thing I feel about this is as follows. This government has resigned itself to a lost decade for our country. It's resigned itself to a lost decade that Britain cannot afford, a lost decade of national decline. A lost decade, not when we make sacrifices to build a better future, but when things get worse, not better. The most important thing I say to you today is a lost decade is not inevitable for our country. And the task of One Nation Labour is to halt the slide into a lost decade for Britain. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. It's not about promising overnight answers. It's not about promising easy solutions. You've had enough of that. I'm not promising easy solutions, but I am promising a different direction for the country. And that different direction starts with one simple idea. It starts with the idea for Britain. And you know, we can learn from what's happened here in Birmingham and Birmingham's history. Because just down the road from here, 150 years ago, George Cadbury established a Cadbury's factory. Many people will have probably visited it. And it is one of the proudest, has been one of the proudest boasts of Birmingham. And of course, we then had the Kraft Cadbury takeover.